Now we're going to number 2. This is a BC factoring question. And for a little background on this, a standard quadratic equation is in the format of ax squared plus bx plus c. If you have numbers in the b and c spots, then you use BC factoring. And in BC factoring, you need two numbers that add to b and multiply to c. So for instance, if you had x squared plus 7x plus 10, we would need two numbers that add to 7 and multiply to 10. And by the way, those numbers are 2 and 5. If, on the other hand, instead of just having numbers in the b and c spots, if you also have a number in the a location, then that's ABC factoring, where you need two numbers that add to b and multiply to AC. For instance, if you had 2x squared plus 13x plus 15, because you have a number in the a spot in addition to the b and c spots, then you need this other method where you need two numbers that add to 13 and multiply to 30, which is, by the way, 2 times 15. That's AC. And what two numbers do that? 10 and 3. Now for BC factoring, once you find your two numbers, 2 and 5, then it factors x plus 2, x plus 5. But for ABC factoring, when you find your two numbers, you're kind of just getting started, because what you would do is split the middle term. So the next thing we would do here is 2x squared plus 10x plus 3x plus 15. Then you would do a GCF for the first two and a GCF for the second two. 2x, x plus 5 plus 3, x plus 5. And then you would factor out the GCF of these two terms, which is x plus 5, and it leaves you with 2x plus 3. So that's ABC factoring and BC factoring in a nutshell. Coming back to this question, this is the nice, easy BC factoring, because we only have numbers in the B and C spots. So we're looking for two numbers that add to 3 and multiply to negative 40. What two numbers do that? If I'm having a hard time thinking of them, I'll just take 40 and divide it by everything. Divide it by 1, divided by 2, divided by 3, by 4, by 5, and there we are. These two numbers with different signs could add up to 3 and multiply to negative 40. The next step is to say they multiply to a negative. So two numbers that multiply to a negative, that would tell us that they have opposite signs from one another. One positive, one negative. And from two numbers with opposite signs, if they add to a positive, that actually means that the bigger of the two numbers is the positive one. So you have 5 and 8. They're opposite signs, but they add to a positive. So the 8 is the positive and the 5 is the negative. So this would factor to x plus 8, x minus 5, and that matches answer choice B.